Buying a house is one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. It's exciting to think about owning your own home, but it's important to understand the true cost before you take that plunge. My name is Vayna Jerabek, realtor here in Seattle, and after having helped many people go through the process of purchasing a home here in Washington, I'm going to share with you what the true cost of purchasing a house is. So if this video is helpful to you, please like and subscribe to keep up to date with this type of content, and if you're looking to buy in Washington, our information will be below. When you're buying a house, the purchase price is just the beginning. There are a number of additional costs to consider, primarily closing costs, property taxes, and home insurance. Typically, your biggest out-of-pocket expense is going to be your down payment, and a portion of your down payment called earnest money will actually be due as soon as your offer is accepted, and then you'll also be responsible for the cost of an inspection if you choose to get one. Now, for your down payment, which will be due at closing, typically you'll be putting up anywhere from 3.5% to 20% of your purchase price, and like I said, this will be due on closing day, but do not forget, your down payment funds need to have been in your bank account for a continuous 2 months before closing, which is called seasoning. The exception to this rule is you can receive the down payment as a gift from a family member, but in all other cases, your lender will need to see that your down payment funds have been in your account for those 2 months. The two most popular loan types, FHA and conventional, both will allow for you to put down as little as 3 to 5% on the home you live in. This doesn't apply to investment properties, so 3 to 5% is about how much you can expect to be paying as a down payment for your house. Usually, the more money you put down, the less you'll pay monthly, and you can use a mortgage calculator like bank rates to see what your monthly payment might look like depending on your sales price, down payment, and interest rate. So the biggest expense in buying a house is usually that down payment. Your second biggest expense is going to be your closing costs. Now, closing costs can add up to thousands of dollars and typically include things like lender fees, title insurance, and escrow fees. Depending on your sales price, closing costs can cost just as much as your down payment, so it's important to be prepared. Your lender will provide you with a sheet of closing costs early on in the process so you can see how much they'll be, but you can typically expect to pay around 2 to 3% of your sales price in closing costs. Now, closing costs themselves can rarely be negotiated, but what you can do is have your seller pay a portion or all of your closing costs as part of the sales agreement, and thus you can lower that expense. It's a good conversation to have with your real estate agent to see if you can get those closing costs paid for. So those are our two biggest costs of buying, the down payment and the closing costs, but it is important to mention property taxes and home insurance. So property taxes vary depending on where you live and the value of your home. They can be a significant expense, so it's important to factor them into your budget. The median annual property tax here in Seattle is about $6,328, which comes down to a couple $100s a month. Home insurance is also a necessary expense. It protects you and your property in case of damage or loss, so make sure to shop around for the best coverage and rates. Home insurance is also going to come out in the hundreds per month range. Now, those are our main costs of buying a home. In addition, there are other ongoing expenses that come with home ownership, like repairs, maintenance, and potentially HOA fees. So owning a home can be a lot of work, and it's important to budget for these costs as well. So to give an example of the total cash amount that you'll need to bring to the table to buy a home, so let's take a $500,000 house. If we get an FHA loan and pay 3.5% down, that comes out to $17,500 for down payment. And let's say we have 2% in closing costs, that's about $10,000. We're already at $27,500 total cost. Like I said before, we could get those closing costs paid by the seller, but in this case, let's say we don't. We're gonna have to come up with that $27,500, and then we're gonna tack on that annual property tax and homeowner's insurance for a few $100s more per month. Let's say we also got an inspection for about $600, and we obviously had to come up with some earnest money when we went under contract, but that's gonna be credited towards our down payment. So all in all, about $30,000 is what we need to come up with to buy a $500,000 house here in Seattle. All in all, buying a house is a big step, but it can also be a great investment. Just make sure you understand the true cost before you take the leap. Here on my team, we know better than most that buying a house can be overwhelming. From finding the perfect property to navigating these costs and pairing you with the best loan program for you, our team of experienced real estate agents is dedicated to making your home buying experience as smooth and stress-free as possible. With that being said, we are here to help. By using our calendar link in the description below, you can quickly and easily book a phone call or virtual appointment that fits your schedule. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Click on the link, select a date and time that works for you, and fill out the form with your contact information so we can reach out. We are super excited to help you navigate the home buying process, and we look forward to working with you. Thanks for watching this video, and we will talk to you soon.